Hi, this is Linda Nyer, Health Sciences Librarian, with the final video in this short series designed to help you find articles for your Adult Health 2 paper. Now, the one area I haven't talked about yet is using the library databases to do subject or keyword searching. We have touched upon it in some of the other videos, and I've talked briefly about using Google Scholar, which is fine. You might also want to consider using the Search Everything box on the library's webpage, which has a very sophisticated search algorithm, and you may get some success that way. In addition, the Search Everything box does have a geographic limiter that will appear once you actually have some search results, so you may want to use that. And of course, I've mentioned Cochrane Libraries, which has systematic reviews. Those are all that is also accessible on the database's A to Z list. However, Cochrane reviews are indexed in our other databases that I'm going to show you, which are CINAHL, MEDLINE, and PubMed. Now, most students have been using these three databases pretty successfully to find at least some articles on their topic. And they all have their strengths and weaknesses. I'm not really going to go into a lot of searching in here. I just want to point out some of the differences between the three databases. The thing to remember when you're using CINAHL is that it has a unique limiter that none of the other databases have, and that is you can limit your articles to any author is a nurse. I like to use that because it's going to include other journals that may not be nursing journals, but include articles that a nurse is a co-author or an author. I like it better than limiting to the journal subset, and in CINAHL there's two, there's the core nursing and the nursing. So use the any author as a nurse, and that'll help you limit to nursing or to research written by nurses. The other limiter that's unique to CINAHL is the geographic subset. MEDLINE and PubMed do not have this. You can select United States, and that will somewhat narrow the focus of your search too. So that's an important limiter that CINAHL has. MEDLINE does have a limiter, has limiters, which CINAHL also does, where you can specify what type of clinical query you want to use, or you may want to limit by publication type. So you can select, for example, all the different types of clinical trials in here, controlled clinical trial, as well as randomized controlled trial, which is popping up here. So likewise, CINAHL has that limiter too. In MEDLINE, to get at the idea of nursing journals, you do have to use a journal and citation subset, and there is one for nursing. Likewise, you want to use language. And then finally, PubMed. You can simply search PubMed as you would MEDLINE. Just remember when you are using PubMed to go in through the library's page, and you will be able to access stuff we subscribe to. Just like I told you about Google Scholar, as long as you're a student here, you want to use those links on the library's databases page to PubMed and as well as to Google Scholar, and so that you can access our subscriptions. In PubMed, I showed you in our initial class how to use the PubMed tool of clinical queries. I like to use this because it's going to limit it to clinical research studies. Your results will display in clinical study categories or systematic reviews. However, I will say all of the systematic reviews will also turn up in clinical studies. So you can get at them either way. In PubMed, when you do a search, and let me just do a quick one in here. I'll just do those. Communication, mechanical ventilation. In order to apply the limits, you need to view all of the articles that are listed in the columns here. So I'm going to look at all 349. Additionally, you need to show additional filters here. So I would recommend languages, sex if it applies, male or female, Journal categories is where you're going to be able to limit by nursing journals as well as ages, which is going to be important for adult health. And you'll see here I can then just work top down, limit by years, limit by language, limit by nursing journals, and then finally limit by adult. And I have a set of about 8. Now, the reason I have such a small set is there may be other synonyms that I'm overlooking for communication and mechanical ventilation. Let me take a look over here under my search details and see how this term has been mapped. It is searching for communication all fields as a keyword. It's also searching for communication as a medical subject heading. It has mapped it to respiration, artificial, which is a medical subject heading, as well as it is looking for all of those as keywords, and it is looking for ventilation and mechanical ventilation and so on. It's looking for all of those as keywords. So that's a nice feature of PubMed, that you're relatively sure that it is going to pick up additional stuff that you may have not actually typed in. So that is PubMed. Now, to actually get your hands on the articles, you do need to click on the article title. Look for full text free links if you can get it. Sometimes you will see our article linker link. And of course, I'm just getting full text links on all of these. Let me pick one right here. Okay, well, sometimes the green article linker will show up and you can use that to navigate to the full text. But these are all available for free full text as well. So PubMed is a nice alternative to using, and it's pretty easy to use. So again, the databases all have different focuses. You might also try MEDLINE. For both MEDLINE and CINAHL, I recommend that you use the suggest subject terms in here. And this is really important in medical terminology. So say if I'm doing a search, I was helping someone who is interested in looking up informational alternative therapies for women with heart disease. So if I just type all those terms in, I'm going to get very few. Why? Because the EBSCOhost databases do not automatically map. However, they do. What I like about using CINAHL and MEDLINE is that they will suggest alternative terms that perhaps PubMed may not pick up. Let me show you what I mean. If I do heart disease, right, it's going to tell me don't use heart disease, use heart diseases. I say, okay, let's take a look at it. Heart diseases, what's included? Underneath it, hierarchically, see if I click on the minus sign, it shrinks it up. If I click on the plus sign, it explodes it. And all of these terms fall under heart disease, arrhythmia, myocardial diseases, and so on. If I want to include all of those and I don't want to have to type them all in individually, I can just automatically explode my term here and then click on the search database button off to the right, and it will create a set of records. My other concept that I was looking for was alternative therapy. Again, I'm going to do suggest subject terms, click on that link, and it tells me to use alternative therapies, plural. All right, shrink that up a little bit. If I look at the tree view, which I always like to do just to see, oh, do I want to explode this or not? I see that, wow, they have a lot of different types of alternative therapies. I want all of them. I'm going to select explode, and then I'm going to search. So now what I am doing here is looking at my search history, and I see I have set 1, which has 828 articles on heart disease with my limiters. I have set 2, alternative therapies. It's exploded the term, that's what that plus sign means, and I have 878 articles. I want to combine these two. First, I have to clear my box up there, and then I just select my 2 sets and tell the database to search with and in between. So I'm looking for alternative therapies and heart disease, and I find that I get 36 results, which is decent. And then I would just look through those to find the research studies that I need. I'll bet you anything that one is not research-based. So you may want one little trick that I use sometimes is to just limit by references available, and that narrows it a little bit as well to more research. So that is CINAHL, the CINAHL headings, very helpful. MEDLINE likewise has suggest subject terms, and I was working with a student who was trying to look up information on mechanical compression devices, and I went out to Google Scholar and found that it's sometimes called sequential compression device. I tried both of those in PubMed, and it didn't really map it to their medical subject headings. So then I thought, ooh, let me try MEDLINE. And I looked for mechanical compression, compression devices. I'm having problems typing today. Okay. And the term that they use, never in a million years would I have guessed this, was intermittent pneumatic compression devices. And you can see where it falls in the tree view, so I can select if there's nothing that falls under it, so the explode box is grayed out. And I know this is the term because it's giving me some scope notes, history notes, and stuff over here that looks, yep, that's what I want. So I will search the database for that. And with the limiters that I've put on, journal subsets for nursing, I find only 2. So that was useful to use the medical subject heading in MEDLINE. I was then able to pass that term on. So sometimes using the thesaurus in MEDLINE or the thesaurus in CINAHL will kind of turn up certain other terms that you may have not thought of. So that's a good way of broadening your search. So just some of the differences between using CINAHL, MEDLINE, and PubMed. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know, and good luck.